Hello, today we're going to make some banana muffins. If you're anything like me, you don't like to waste food. So when I have some bananas that have been sitting on the counter for a few days that are getting kind of brown and spotted, I know my kids won't eat them. So then I either make some banana muffins or I chop them into chunks and put them in the freezer in a baggie so they can use them for smoothies. Today though, we're going to make some banana muffins. In this bowl, I've got some 3 very ripe bananas that I've mashed up, and we're going to combine all our wet ingredients first. So to this bowl, I'm going to add 1/3 of a cup of maple syrup. I'm going to add 1/2 cup of sesame butter. You could use almond butter or any other kind of nut or seed butter that you happen to have. If you want to be able to send these to school, I would recommend using a nut-free butter like sesame butter. And we're going to add 3 eggs right to the bowl. And we're also going to add a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Then we're going to combine all of these, and then I'm going to show you how to put the dry ingredients together. Now we're going to combine our dry ingredients. So in this little bowl, I have a little mesh sieve, and I'm going to put 1/4 cup of coconut flour in there. Oh, there's a great big lump. This is exactly why we have to sift it, because coconut flour can be very, very lumpy. So I'm just going to pass this through the sieve and get out all the lumps. And to that 1/4 cup of coconut flour, we're going to add a 1/2 teaspoon each of baking powder and baking soda. We're going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt, and we're also going to add a teaspoon of cinnamon. So now what I like to do is I want to take a whisk and just whisk all of these dry ingredients together and get them well combined. And then at this point you can add whatever kind of extras you like. If you want to add some nuts, you can add those. You can add some chocolate chips. You can just leave these plain. I'm going to add some chocolate chips because my kids like the chocolate chips. So I'm adding about 1/4 cup of those to the dry ingredients, and just going to mix them in with the dry so they don't all sink to the bottom. Now we're going to combine the wet and the dry ingredients. So I'm just going to sprinkle our dry ingredients over our wet. Coconut flour is a very thirsty flour, so you don't need a lot. So it might look like you have an awful lot of wet ingredients for the little bit of dry that you have, but it will absorb. And because there's no gluten in the coconut flour, you can really give this a good mix. It's not like when you make regular muffins and you have to lightly mix them so you don't develop gluten. With this, you can just mix them until they're nice and combined. And it is a wet mixture. So this is all combined. Now I'm just going to scrape my spatula, make sure I've got everything saturated, and then we can fill our muffin cups. So I've got some paper liners. If you don't have paper liners, just spray them with some non-stick cooking spray, and I use a scoop like this. It makes it much easier to fill up accurately, and you get muffins that are all the same sizes. So I'm going to fill these up, and I'm going to bake them in a 350-degree oven for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then I'll show you what they look like. Okay, the muffins are out of the oven and they're on a rack to cool. Mine took about 17 minutes altogether, and I was able to get 11 from the mixture. Depending on the size of your bananas, you could get anywhere between 10 and maybe 13 muffins. These will keep really well in an airtight container for a few days, or you let them completely cool and you can freeze them in batches. I hope you enjoyed this recipe, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.